Right, Stephen, so we are now leaving the place where you looked at the Coronado, and so you took it for a test drive, and we have talked to the gentleman,
Mr.
Zerko. He's Serbian. He said he's from Serbia.
Yeah.
He's been in the country for 10 years, but I was surprised to hear that he was not registered to vote, but he says he's not a U.S. citizen. He's not a U.S.
because
citizen.
he didn't come over the border. He has to do it the legal way.
He has to do it the legal way.
Yep, so it's going to take him a minute.
Because he's not an illegal.
That's right.
Isn't that something? So people that are here legally have to wait a long time to get processed to be a registered citizen and vote and all that, just to be legal. But if you cross the border, then you can have all the free money from FEMA that you want, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, he is from Serbia. Oh, look at that ice cream cone on top of that. Look at that. That makes me hungry for an ice cream cone.
You think they got ice cream on? You've already had 5 donuts.
I did not have 5 donuts. I did not.
You did too.
No, I didn't. No, there's a bright yellow truck. Look at that.
You don't want that truck.
No.
He was just telling you how much it cost for a turbo.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
He paid $8,000 for a turbo.
This man did?
Zerko, for that white truck that he has.
Right.
He said the turbo went out and it was $8,000 for the turbo.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I could get turbos for the Caterpillar motor for $2,000.
Okay, so let's talk about your overall evaluation and what are our plans.
Well, it has a leak somewhere. It might be the front main seal, or it could be the oil pan gasket, but it does have a leak around the pan gasket somewhere. Other than that, the rest of the motor's dry. I took it out and ran it. She doesn't have any blow-by. All the jakes and everything work on it. Transmission's tight. And there's some plastic inside that needs to be tightened up, and the doors need to be adjusted. It does have a little bit of cancer far back on the chassis, but it's far back. It's not up. Once you get past up to the 5th wheel, you don't find anymore. So it's basically on the back, and it's not real bad, but it does have a little bit of cancer. Them Freightliners really don't get bad like the Peterbilts do. But and it's been smoked in, and but it's nothing like that yellow one where, man, I felt like I went swimming in an ashtray. This one's not that bad, so he said he would try to clean it up. And but anyway, I know about smoking, and the only way you can clean it up is to take the interior apart. And if I take it apart, I'll color change it. And part of the color changing is because you put, you clean it and then prime it and paint it, and that'll get rid of a lot of the smoke smell. And then the material, you wash the material as much as you can. Not a whole lot you can do about insulation. You can put some chemicals on it and some mothballs. As far as insulation, you're not going to clean that unless you take it out and put new insulation in it. And then all the air conditioning and heating, you'll have to clean all the ductworks and all that to get the smoke out. So, but it's not so bad that it would give me I drove it, and with the window down, of course, but I drove it and it wasn't that bad. So I mean, it does smell like cigarettes, but it wasn't so bad that I can't handle it. So it could be a work in progress, and I'm not really concerned. Since it's not that bad, I'm not really concerned about it, though. What I'm more concerned about is the oil leak.
So, I mean,
those
just...
Detroits are deep oils.
So, for the sake of conversation, and we're going to address the issue for the sake of conversation, when you discovered that it had an oil leak, I thought for sure that would kill any interest in it for you. I thought for sure that was
Really, because the oil leaks were down low. So, what I mean by that is if the oil leaks were coming up high, then that would show that there was a lot of wear and tear on the motor. But it's all dry up on top and around the head and around all the parts. The only leaks were coming around the oil pan, the oil gasket, the pan gasket, or the front seal. So that's work. I mean, you have to fix it, but that's not showing a lot of wear and tear. That's just showing that it's got a leak. So.
Well, I know how hard you had a major oil leak on our 2000 Freightliner, and it just about, it would never go away.
Yeah, that's because it was between the front casing and the block.
So what you're saying is where the leak is determines that you don't feel that bad.
This leak could be in the same exact place, but I don't know that. All I know is it has a leak, and I tried to find it, but it doesn't go up any higher. The leak doesn't go any higher than the bottom of the crank. So if you get to the bottom of the crank, it's dry for the rest of the way up. So wherever the leak is coming from, it's coming down from below.
Okay. All right. Well, so tell them why we could not purchase it today.
Because he was selling it to his driver. First he put a driver in, then the driver wanted to buy it, and he was pulling a dry van, and he couldn't make enough money to pay for it and make a living, and so he gave it back to him, and so the title is still in the driver's name, and so he said that here, because the guy is from St. Louis, he said he should be able to change it over into his name within 3 days. So if I told him, get it in your name and give me a call, and I'll come up and give you your money for it. So there it is there. We shook hands.
Yes.
When I shake hands, that means the deal.
That's right. Stephen gave the man a handshake, and of course that may not mean anything to some people, but Stephen is a man of his word, and so that's a nice looking flatbed, isn't it?
It is.
That's nice.
It's a nice one. I delivered a few of those. Remember when I just delivered trailers?
Man, that's pretty.
Yeah, I delivered a few of those.
So, it did concern me that the title was not in his name. That did concern me, and I was not going to let us hand over a cashier's check to something that he didn't even have the title in his name.
Well, he said he would take care of it, and he said it probably should be taken care of within a few days, so either this week or next week we'll go get the truck. So.
Well, I have to say I'm just expressing to our audience that I am surprised by that. Just because of all the...
Surprised by what?
Well, just because of all the issues that it has. It has so many issues.
Okay, well here, let me point something out for you. Tractor trailers in today's market are right at $200,000. And for you to go out and spend less than $20,000 on a truck and it not have some kind of issues, you're living in dreamland.
Okay. But you're used to working on trucks anyway. I mean, it's not like you don't know how to fix them. So, yeah, you're used to all of that. It's what you do. You know how to fix problems with trucks. So,
well, if I don't, then I'll learn.
So that man, another thing that made me suspicious of him is that he...
Why are you suspicious of him?
Because he didn't know, he owned the truck, but he didn't know anything at all about inner workings and mechanics of it. He didn't know how to talk to you about all the problems. Like you were talking to him about this problem and that problem, and he's like, well, I don't know. And he's like, he even said himself that he didn't even know about the mechanics of it. I've never met somebody who owned trucks that couldn't talk about it, that couldn't talk about the issues. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, he's not a truck driver, and
so he just owns the trucks.
That's right. He just buys and puts drivers in trucks, and so him and another guy, he's partners with another guy, and that's what they do. They buy trucks and put drivers in them. And he's like, well, I really want to try to find something else to do. I said, yeah, me too.
Okay, so maybe that clarifies it then. He said he owned 10 trucks. So he owns trucks, but he does not drive them himself.
No, they're all newer trucks.
And he said that he bought that one 2 years ago for $50,000.
Yeah. Of course, 2 years ago, trucks were worth a lot more, too, so.
Well, I guess that would clarify the fact that he didn't know anything about the mechanics of it. But that's highly unusual, isn't it? I guess I'm spoiled in the sense that you are an owner-operator that...
Not everybody knows how to work on trucks, Ruthie. Some people just know how to work money. And he's one of those people that doesn't drive or operate trucks. He just tries to flip his money, try to make his money work. Which is what I'm trying to do. Take what little money I have and try to get it back to work before it's all gone.
Right. He says that he has a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old daughter, that he's been in the country for 10 years, and he says that he knows that his English still isn't that great, but I didn't think he was speaking bad English. But that is discouraging to know that he's legally in the United States, but he can't vote. And then the people that are not here legally are doing all the illegal stuff and get all the FEMA money. Alright, so we're just going to wait for him to put the title in his name, to have a good, clean title in his name.
Man, throwing rocks all over.
Oh, I hear all that popping from the rocks. Pop, 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 I hear that. Well, I'm glad that we got up early this morning and left very early this morning.
Yeah.
It's only 10 o'clock here. We left the house at 3 o'clock this morning. So I am glad that we got an early start. Well, okay, everybody. That's our summary that Stevens decided to buy it, but now we have to wait on the title to be in this man's name, and then we'll take care of it from there.
Yep.
So it is a 2008 Freightliner Coronado, correct?
Yes, with a 12.7 Detroit 60 series in it. And a 13 speed.
Oh, okay. Since we're talking about specs here, I wasn't quite sure what he was saying. It made me nervous about...
He's saying it wasn't an original glider, meaning it didn't come from the factory with no motor. So it obviously came with another Detroit, and they pulled that Detroit out and put that 12.7 in, which was the smart thing to do, because the 14.7s don't get good fuel mileage.
Okay, but I thought the very definition of glider was that it was an empty shell, and that
Yeah. So the glider, so-called glider that comes from the factory, comes with no motor and trans, and you put your own motor and trans. This truck came from the factory with another motor, and they pulled that motor out and put the 12.7 in. So because it was a 2008, it would have came with a 14 liter, and the 14 liters are not that they're good motors, but they eat a lot of fuel. So this truck here gets 7.5 miles to the gallon all day long, all year round, where a 14 liter will get worse than Caterpillars. So somebody swapped out the motor and put a 12.7 in it from a 14 liter. So it's not really a glider. It's just had the motor swapped in it.
oh, okay. But that's not really a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing.
AJ, what did you think about the truck?
I have no thoughts.
Yeah, he does. It just, because it came out of your mouth. You tell your mom what you thought of that truck, boy.
I don't want to go on the road. That's what I think.
Yeah. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Put your thoughts and your comments down below. Tell us what you think about the truck, and getting behind the wheel again. And let us know what you think. Have a wonderful day. Have lots of fun. Don't buy trucks like me. God bless.